everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. The con artists Harry and Meghan, I have coined as Hagen, have finally hit rock bottom as the scammers and con artists that they are. We're going to go through all of the things that they are doing, which I find absolutely amazing. I love it for them that they have finally hit the rock bottom. Okay, so we're going to go through all of the scams that have been uncovered recently. Some you may know about and some you may not, so stay tuned. Okay, so first let's start with what has come out about the lower income children's school in Harlem, New York that Meghan and Harry visited. That was back in September 2021, and the purpose of that visit was to flog Meghan's book and to get footage for Netflix. And of course, we knew all of that at the time, and at the time I made a video on it using this footage from one of the moms who was very upset about the visit and how it went. And that footage has now been scrubbed from the internet, but I still have it.
Yo, check this out. This girl right here told my daughter in Harlem, New York, when they visited with the gingerhead husband, she told her that she was a princess. Say what? Princess? I don't know any other princesses unless Princess Diana came back from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to come over here and trying to record our children. Tell them to when to scream, when to hug you, and dropping off 2 boxes of rotten tomatoes. Authentic, my ass. Bitch, please. We don't like you in America. Don't come back to New York. You told my daughter you was a princess. You ain't no fucking princess. You and your dog that's on a leash, bitch. We don't like you. Don't come back to Harlem. We don't want to see you there no more. None of that. We don't like you.
I want to pause.
Bye, bitch.
Bye.
Thank you from Harlem. We the parents, thank you for recording our children without our permission. Thank you very much.
And you can see that she's very upset, first of all, about Meghan forcing the children to refer to her as princess or telling them she was a princess or whatever. Now, the age of these children is 7 to 8 years old. That's year 3 in the UK and grade 2 in America. Happens to also be the same age as my son. And that is why I take so much issue with it, because children at that age have a lot of questions. They're very curious and they're very cognizant at that age. So to think that you can just come out there and tell them whatever you want to tell them, it rubs me the wrong way. My son would have been very much having questions about that. Everyone knows I won Miss Barbados. I very rarely talk about it, of course, but and it's like if I told my son, well, you know, I was the queen of Barbados because I won a beauty contest. It's like that. He would probably have some questions. In fact, let's try it out.
Hey, Valentine, what if I told you that I was the queen of Barbados?
Then I'd say, but I thought they were the Prime Minister of Barbados, not a queen.
The second thing about this is where the mom says,
thank you for recording our children without our permission. Thank you.
So that's just not how schools work, okay? Private or public, you can sign a waiver at the beginning of the year to say, yes, I want my child to be photographed, or no, I don't want my child to be photographed. And of course, I put yes, personally, me, because my child is out here in public, like he has his own YouTube channel and everything, which you can follow. And I don't really mind, but I know parents that are absolutely against it. So that means that their children can't be used in media to promote the school or like, you know, in the brochures for the school or anything like that. So I found that very, very interesting how this woman said she did not give permission and yet her child was featured. Come to find out that the Daily Mail went on a deep dive asking for a freedom of information request to find out what really happened between Hagen's people, and the school. And they're all these emails. You can look at them. This is a back and forth. You can pause it and look at all of these different things. But basically, I'll summarize it to say that this is a back and forth between Meghan's people trying to find out if there's a loophole of some kind that they can slip through to photograph children that are not supposed to be photographed. if they can sweeten the deal with adding cushions and furniture to the school and sprucing up the school a bit, if they can use the school in a promotional sense. Of course, we know that is talking about promoting Meghan's book, The Bench, which is what she read to the students in her vampire outfit. Can we talk about this outfit for a second though? I mean, do you really go and greet children in this blood red vampire outfit? I've read a book at my son's school and I went dressed as like one of the characters from the book. I read Fantastic Mr. Fox. There were some farmers in the story, so I dressed kind of like a farmer. You go with children wanting to see you as a sweet character, not as this, what is she doing? Where is she going to? Is this like a power suit that she's going to, like a power meeting? What's really going on? The whole thing was completely cringe. This back and forth is talking about her promoting the book, and that's not really allowed. The school doesn't do promotional stuff, but then they're saying, well, what if we do it this way? And what if we do it that way? Can they donate some copies of the book? And then it turns out that the parents are asked afterwards to donate $5, put it in their child's folder. It was very ambiguous as to where the money was going, but it was going to a charity of Archwell's choosing. So basically they were paying for the book that was donated by Meghan. I mean, if that ain't a bait and switch tactic. Also, $5 is a lot for, my son goes to a private school, and even private schools don't ask you for $5. They might ask you for $2 or $3 or whatever. But $5? I've actually never seen $5. Me personally, I've not seen it. So for this school, which is an underprivileged children's school, ask them to donate $5. It kind of is unheard of for me. But what's worse is the power dynamic, the uneven power play of Meghan and Harry taking this underprivileged school, chosen specifically because they know that the parents have no fight against them. It has taken 2 bloody years, okay, for the Daily Mail to dig up this crazy, what looks almost criminal, the lengths that they're going to force the school to do things that are against school policy. The parents have no protection. They have no dog in this fight against Meghan and her lawyers and her legal team and the Netflix legal contracts. You know what I mean? It's taken that long to the point where even though they want to speak out about it, they can't, because they did sign NDAs though. Even though Meghan and Harry disregarded their signatures and their waivers for their children to be featured, they made them sign NDAs that not even in the future, neither now or in the future, are they allowed to speak about this visit, so that there's no negative publicity about this visit. And I thought that was very strange. You had that Fulani, Nugazi Fulani, remember that lady who said that somebody asked her where she's from and she didn't like it. And she was able to go on the news and talk about her experience, going to that palace function and how she didn't like how people said things about her. And then her daughter came on and was like, yes, my mom, and this and that. They were able to do all these things, these news press things, their 15 minutes of fame, were realized this lady who was burning this magazine should have had her 15 minutes of fame to talk about what went on that was so egregious to her.
Thank you for recording our children without our permission. Thank you.
But it never happened. And everybody was waiting with bated breath to see the face behind this footage. At least I was. She was afraid to show her identity. And of course, was obviously not allowed to show her identity. And I find that extremely disgusting and scary that they planned this out. Apparently they planned this visit to the school 6 months prior. They planned this out just to make sure that they got the most vulnerable group of people that could not fight with them. Because remember, this is in September after the March interview of Oprah. There were a lot of people that didn't like her behind at that point. But she still had to get her Netflix footage and pretend to be a philanthropist for it, instead of keeping herself quiet. I just want to say right now, before I go into all the other scams, I'm going to say right now, in case Meghan's watching and she doesn't want to watch me go through all of her other crap, go away for a while. Just go away from the public eye and come back later, when everyone's forgotten about you. Please, this is my advice to you, because you cannot just keep coming out here doing crimes and crap and you just can't keep doing it. You've reached the lowest bottom feeder level now of messing with people's children, which I said in my last video is the last final form of the demonic character that Meghan is. You've reached there. Congratulations. Now please go away and come back later, because you're acting extremely unhinged. Let's get into the concert where she wore this horse blanket of an outfit. Horse blankets, if she says they're in, honey. So your girl is gonna rock it too. But she wears his horse blanket and rocks up at Kevin Costner's concert. You all know about this already, I'm sure. But the point is that I found it very odd that Kevin Costner would have had her there. Because as you know, her people put out some kind of puff piece about her possibly playing Diana in a film that Kevin Costner was either producing or part of. And he disavowed her and he debunked it and he had nothing to do with her and had taken no meetings with her regarding any kind of projects. So imagine how he felt when her and Harry rock on up to his concert, his charity concert, and somehow slip through the cracks of schmoozing with people until they get up on that stage. An actor he might be, a very good actor he might be, but he could not hide his bewilderment and his like, how did this happen to me? How are these people here? And she's so unhinged and so handsy. She's touching things. I guess somebody handed her an award to give because they were like, she's not going anywhere. She's planted her 2 feet up on this stage. I don't know if you saw this meme, sorry, of her 2 feet. I don't understand why she has to touch everyone and touch everything until she finally gets to the mic. And she looks at Harry like this, which is so... I would be afraid if I were him at this point. I'd be very afraid of what happens when I go to sleep at night, Harry. Because if somebody's looking at you like that, you're not safe. Allegedly, for legal purposes. But yeah, it just reminded me of the Bob Iger incident where they were schmoozing and I just felt like I felt kind of embarrassed for them in a way. And then Harry just keeps slipping out the word therapy. He has like a tick now, right? Where like anytime he speaks to people, he has to be like, therapy, therapy though. Did I mention that? And you know, therapy. It's just become like a nervous tick. There's his bodyguard or their bodyguard there who is recalibrating his life choices as he is thinking to himself, I'm here and I don't want to be here working for these people. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. She takes pictures with people as she normally does. I feel like in this picture with Kevin Costner, he's trying to walk away. You see, he's like almost out of the frame, like walking out towards lens, like he's leaving. He's leaving the picture. You have her here with this deacon or monk or priest or whatever. I don't know if he knows that Meghan be lying on Men of the Cloth. Archbishop of Canterbury, if you remember. I think Archbishop of Canterbury would like to warn you. She might tell everyone that you anointed her right after this picture was taken. Okay? With the blood of Jesus. And now she's actually a goddess. She lies on the Men of the Cloth. Like... this poor man took a picture with her. Okay, but I just can't get over like how unhinged she's appearing. She's appearing to be a desperate woman. And I honestly think that it has something to do with she might have known that these documents from the Harlem school were coming out. They always know before it happens and they try their best to stop it, you know? And I wonder if when she went to this concert, she was fully aware that like, because she's acting like a very desperado woman, trying to get to do something important to be like, but I do things. I'm a philanthropist. I'm part of charities that I wasn't invited to, but I'm here and I just have to do good at all costs. I don't know. And that's not her accent. And I don't know why I just used it. But my point is that she's just acting insane. It makes me feel crazy. Surprise, Kevin Costner didn't like being Markled. They cornered me, quote unquote. The couple were spotted backstage chatting with Costner as well as senior police and firefighting officials. Costner was later overheard speaking to other guests saying, I did everything I could. I hid behind a pillar, went to the gents, tried to talk to other people, but I just couldn't shake them off until they finally cornered me. Okay, another scam that was uncovered is Archetypes, LLC out of Arizona, formed in 2015. I reported on that before. So Meghan just used their name for her podcast. She did not check. She did not care that this was already a name that was used. She just used it. And then I made a skit on the fact that when they filed papers trying to claim the name, the lawyers handed in the filing without Meghan and Harry's signature on it. And so I made this skit because I thought the only thing that could possibly be happening here is that the lawyer is having a laugh with her and used some kind of disappearing ink. I think this is Meghan and Harry coming into the courtroom. It turns out that, they've lost the case. The owner of the trademark application withdrew the application and the application is no longer active. Abandoned because the applicant filed an express abandonment. So I guess they withdrew it, Meghan and Harry, but either way it would have been thrown out. It was not signed. So I'm happy for Archetypes Arizona LLC, because the problem with that specifically was that this company was formed to cover topics in book. They were going to promote books and so on that dealt with the same kind of topics that Archetypes podcast, Meghan's podcast, was covering, specifically women's issues and so on and so forth. So it would have been a definite conflict, a direct conflict, okay, with what Archetypes out of Arizona was doing. They need to go away for a while and not come back for a while. Yeah, so that's basically the 3 scams I wanted to uncover this week. I got a letter from a dear friend of mine, i.e. a subscriber. You know who you are. It was regarding a video that Lady Colin Campbell did and then took down. And she told me, I don't know if any of you saw it, but she told me that there were some things that Lady Colin Campbell said and that she wanted me to investigate them. Now, I just want to do a public service announcement before I go. As you can see, when I talk about things, I am very careful to always be able to prove what I'm saying. There is so much humor and comedy to find when you look upon them and the things that they do and the things that are written about them, that there's no reason to just talk out of your mouth things that you don't know if they're true or not. So I am saying this, that I have nothing to do with this information, but it was something to do with the spare that Harry was publishing it at the time when he was publishing it. Meghan wanted it published closer to the coronation in order to really destroy the coronation for King Charles, and that Harry put his foot down and won that battle. And I am putting here, I disavow. I do not know anything. I have found nothing about this. I cannot find anything about it. Another thing was to do with King Charles going to Parliament to trying to get the Sussex children's title removed in the event that there is a divorce, because there is a divorce coming up. Again, disavow, have found nothing about that. So I would really like, if you don't mind, Lady Colin Campbell seems to have an army of lawyers. A team of lawyers. I don't know what she has, but I don't have it. So I need to make sure that everything I talk about is provable. And she's an author. She's a writer. She's an amazing storyteller. I think I've told you before that my mother knows her from childhood. And my mother said she was always very gifted with that creativity and storytelling, and she's very good. But I don't say anything until, like I said, I have the news article to prove it, or it comes out in a documentary or a podcast or whatever it may be. That's how I do things. I'm really just staying in my own lane. I don't want to sanction anybody. Do you know what I mean? Except for Sue Smith. She's my girl. But yeah, I mean, I love your comments. I love your interest in this topic. And I hope that we continue to have great videos and have a good time. But yes, keep the comments coming. Tell me how you feel about this information. Love you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Please subscribe to Valentine's Playroom. It's my son's children channel. So if you have any bambinos around who might enjoy adventures with an island boy, share his channel with them, please. Thank you.